Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fix and Flip DMV. My name is Cherie of Simply Funded. We are private lenders for real estate investors in the Metro DC area. I am here today with Mike Cappello of SellSimpli. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Cherie, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So during these sessions that we have with people, we talk to experienced rehabbers who have success finding, funding, fixing, and flipping properties. Or if you don't flip the properties, then you actually do your burst strategy and you rent it out and you repeat. So you do have extensive experience with that. So first thing I want to ask you, though, is tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in real estate overall.
Yeah, I'm on the newer side to real estate. So I've just started in the last few years professionally, but I've really been around real estate my whole life. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Prior to real estate, I owned a landscaping business for almost 15 years. We grew that business pretty substantially in the Northern Virginia area, and then we were able to sell that business in 2018, 2019, and then I kind of jumped with both feet into real estate. I had done a little bit on my own, just kind of buying properties, sort of half living in them and flipping them at the same time. Like I would call them almost like a long-term flip, where I would live in something for a couple of years, fix it up while I lived there, and then sort of moved on. And I did that a few times. So that was kind of my foray into real estate. And then just in the last couple of years, jumped in with both feet after selling the landscaping business, and have gotten into initially getting licensed and doing a little transactional work, and more recently starting SellSimpli, and we do some wholesaling, fixing and flipping, buying and holding, a little mix. We're just kind of investor developers.
So you are a wholesaler. So if people are looking to network with you with regards to properties that you may be wholesaling yourself, then what's your website, just so people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're SellSimpli right here. SellSimpli.co is the website. So www.sellsimpli with an I.co. Sorry.
And what's your target area?
So we're really concentrating our marketing to Front Royal, Winchester, kind of up and down I-81 right now, but I'll network with anybody in Northern Virginia. I'm from the area, but we've kind of targeted that area because we want to be buying there. So we're concentrating a lot of our marketing there, but I do get deals in Northern Virginia and around DC, Maryland too. So, but if you're interested, most of our deals are going to come from the Shenandoah area up to Winchester, and even a little bit in West Virginia too. So
let's talk a little bit about finding deals, because you do have a targeted geographic area where you do a lot of your, well, my understanding is all of your outreach goes to a specific targeted area. There are some people that feel like maybe that won't be enough, opportunity.
yeah.
When it comes to finding deals, talk us to a little bit more about the psychology behind choosing a smaller geographic target to go after.
Yeah, I mean, for us, there's different schools of thought on this topic, but for us, we really want to be the go-to buyer in our area. So we've kind of targeted right now the Front Royal area. It is a smaller market, but our goal is to steal mind share, and we want everybody to know who we are, what we do, and be a reputable buyer that can perform. And we're connecting a lot with agents in the area. There's a lot of opportunity there, even though it's a smaller market. That's why we've kind of started looking out there, because unlike Northern Virginia proper, I still consider Front Royal Northern Virginia, but there's a lot of distressed properties, and there's a lot of lower income areas, and those opportunities are what we're looking for. So for us, it's about stealing mind share in the market. We want to be the guys that people think of when they see a distressed property, or they come across a seller who is in a difficult situation for one reason or another, or is just difficult in general. We're problem solvers, and our goal is to really just put ourselves out there. We do some direct mail, we've got radio ads, we do cold calling, we do agent outreach. We kind of have picked this small market, but we're really, really saturating it in various ways to let our presence be known out there. And the main thing is just performing, like sticking to our word, being reliable, and doing what we say we were going to do. And when somebody sends us a deal, like, they know that we're going to take care of it. We're going to either do it ourselves or we're going to find somebody that can. So
I mean, that's so important is keeping your word. Do you
yeah,
also discover you're getting referrals now as well because you have such a targeted niche?
exactly. And the goal is that, by coming in hot with some of these other sort of techniques and strategies for marketing, is that, and especially like with reaching out to agents, they're the ones that are out there. And this is a market where it's very small town feel. So like all the big agents in Front Royal have lived there for like 20, 30 years. They know everybody. They know every house, every street, every business owner. They're all like intertwined together. So by me, getting involved and meeting these people and networking and making friends out there, like, they're calling me when they have a deal now, you know what I mean? So they're bringing opportunities my way. Our marketing is still our marketing. It's still working, but the evergreen part of it is being the face of the distressed property buyer, being the go-to investor in the area that agents know when they come across something, like, these are the guys you want to call because they're going to take
Right,
care of business.
right, right. So tell us maybe an example of something that you have found and like how you found that deal and
Mhm.
a little bit about what it was, just so that people can get an idea of what some of the numbers are.
Yeah. Most recently we've been having a lot of success with pre-foreclosures. So I've been pulling lists from a few different sources for pre-foreclosures. There's a couple of attorneys that do that do trustee work, and they post on public, they're on their websites anytime they have a new pre-foreclosure come up. That these websites are updated pretty much daily, so I keep an eye on those. I have a
Mhm.
couple other websites, even like a website like auction.com is really good just for alerting you for properties that are coming up for auction. So I've got a few different avenues of identifying those properties. And then honestly, I found the best thing is just cold calling. Like, I'll just pick up the
Cold calling
phone.
the property owner.
Yeah, it's just direct to seller. We use batch leads to skip trace those properties. So I'll
Mhm.
get the address from one of these websites. I'll skip trace the property using batch leads, and then I'll just start making phone calls, where I'll have somebody on my team make phone calls. But honestly, like, these people are usually in a place where they're avoiding everybody. So
Mhm.
being out there, door knocking is my next best solution. So the most recent one that we have under contract, we're closing next month. I was basically at their front door days before this auction, and
Mm.
they had really nowhere to turn. And that's what you kind of have to do in these situations, especially
Yeah.
with foreclosure auction pending. So yeah, I mean, it's like boots on the ground is really the best. Phone in hand, boots on the ground, and that's what's getting the job done for those. Uh,
Now, when it comes to what you say to people, let's say you're on the phone with somebody, they actually pick up the phone,
mhm.
or you're leaving a voicemail message. What are the 2 to 3 sentences, excuse me, sentences that you actually say to a person to even get them to,
Yeah.
be receptive?
Yeah, for me, it's all about building rapport from the get-go.
Mhm,
I just try and be friendly. Again, a lot of these situations, people are on edge. They've
mhm.
got creditors calling them, they've got banks calling them. Um, so I just come at it as gently as possible, introduce myself. Hey, my name's Mike. I'm a local. Um, real estate professional. I don't like using the word investor particularly. I think
Hmm.
that's kind of a buzzword that turns some people off. So I'll say I'm a real estate professional. I buy and own a number of properties in the area. I was, driving through the neighborhood the other day. Happened to see your property. It looks like something that kind of is in my wheelhouse, something that I might be interested in buying. Have you been thinking about selling the property? Is it something that, would you consider an offer? I try and keep things vague and light. And, obviously I'm calling for a reason. So I have to get to the
Hmm.
point. I try and get to the point, but also, you know, be friendly, be personable, and just try and like be an open ear, because the people that are ready to sell, if they get the sense that you can help them, they're
Hmm.
going to open up very quickly. Like I've found that to be the case almost every time. It's like these people, the leads that you want are the leads that are ready to go, and they're out there. There's something to follow up and everything. Not every deal is going to close in 2 weeks, but um, the deals that are going to close, those people are ready to go. Like they've got something coming up. It doesn't have to be a foreclosure. It could be a health issue. It could be whatever. They're getting
Yeah.
divorced or
Tired
whatever.
landlord, all of that.
And
Yeah.
there's so many reasons, right? But
Hmm.
when those people have reached the point that they know they need to sell, like they get a glimpse that, oh, maybe this guy can help me. He seems like a nice guy. You know, they're going to open up. They're going to start telling you everything
Hmm.
really quickly. So I just try and keep things light, try and be, come from a friendly perspective. And a lot of these people I end up being friends with them and like building a relationship with them. And this same pre-foreclosure that I'm talking about, like it's not a good situation. And like these people are really struggling. And I'm there to help them out of that,
Hmm.
to the point where like it's a mother, a daughter who's like in her late teens, early 20s with a young kid. And like I've offered to, hey, why don't you like help me out with my business? Like
Hmm.
she's a nice girl. She's well spoken, not highly educated, but hey, can you pick up the phone? You think maybe you can help me generate some leads? And so I've got her making some phone calls for me now. So like it's
Yeah.
just about being helpful, being a friend, being a shoulder, and that's really what's been working for me.
So, final question for this finding portion before we move on.
Yeah.
Um, how many people do you need to speak with in order to get a deal?
I've found my it's been crazy like few months for me, really since the beginning of the year. My closing rate has been like absurd.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I think like the typical national average or whatever, if you talk to other investors or you go into any of these other wholesaler groups, is like, 20-30 to 1, like conversations to deals, right?
Hmm.
I'm like, honestly, I'm probably right now at like a 5-to-1. Like I have 5 conversations, like I'm getting a contract. And that's
That's
really good. And
great.
that's not like, normal, but I'm also like really being, I don't have a big team right now. So it's just me. So I really have to like pick and choose my battles. I'm being very selective about like where I'm spending my time, what conversations I'm having,
Hmm.
and eliminating people pretty quickly when I'm realizing that, they're not quite ready.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that's fine. You just keep following up and you don't have to even do too much. Like I got a call yesterday from a lead from like 2 years ago, when I was still even an agent. But it was a distressed seller situation. She was, I did a great job building rapport, and I was young and like young in my real estate journey and eager, and I was so excited, and it didn't work out, and I was like really kind of bummed about it because I felt like I did a good job building rapport and like,
Hmm.
but she just wasn't ready. She was still working, and she was like, it came down to like, I'm going to retire like in another year. And then I didn't hear from her. I kept following up. I'd send her a message here and there. I still wouldn't even hear from her, but I kept doing. I'd call her. I'd leave her a voicemail every like few months, or I'd send her a quick text. And then 2 days ago, she calls me. She's like, hey, I just retired. You still interested? And I was like, yep. and I got an appointment with her tomorrow. So it's like,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Love it.
So there's definitely like, you have to balance follow up with, what's really urgent, and you can't waste too much time because not everybody's ready. Like,
Mhm.
but those people that are, like, you have to be able to identify that and be able to come up with a solution and be able to rock and roll. So
Right, right. So once you found the property, you need to fund it.
mhm.
So why don't we talk about that? What are some ways that you actually fund the properties that you're getting under contract?
Yeah. So I've used hard money in the past. That's always an option. Even for newbie investors, like, don't be afraid to get out there and talk to lenders. If you have a good deal, like, somebody will fund it. If the
Yes.
numbers are good, somebody will fund it. Um, Hard money is not always going to be your cheapest option. It's not always going to be your best option. It's not always your only option. We've also used private money with just relationship building. For purchase, for construction, we've got firsts and seconds with private money. And that's been a big part of our business, is just building, as we've kind of started to grow, building those relationships. People, posting on, even posting on social media has brought me outside investors. People see what we're doing. They're like, hey, that's really cool. I've got people like that I haven't talked to in 10, 15, 20 years reaching out to me saying, hey, I see what you're doing. Seen you posting on social media, like, really like it. Been thinking about getting into real estate investing. I've got some cash. Like, can we get together and talk about it? I'm like, yeah, like, let's do it. So there's always, private money is always good. But people aren't always willing and able to jump into those situations. So I think hard money is always your first best option for a newbie investor, because those people know what they're doing. They're seasoned. A lot of the times they'll be able to help you with numbers and help you orchestrate the deal, and help you with outside resources. So
Hmm.
we've had good success on both sides, private and hard money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we will say that it's Simply Funded. There's a lot of investors, private money out there. We actually connect them with the final borrower. We are hard money lenders. And you are right that we don't want to see the projects fail. One of the other big things outside of the money is the construction. And
mhm.
we have a sister organization that is a construction company, very good as well. So for newbies, a lot of hard money lenders do not typically like to lend to newbies,
Yeah,
or they're very, very unfavorable.
yeah,
Where we, because of our alliance with the construction company, we do love to take chances on newbies, your first, second, third deals. So definitely, simplyfunded.com. That's my commercial, and then we're going to jump back into the
yeah.
programming. Um, so once you have funded the deal, then it's time to fix it.
Yep.
And the construction part can be make or break. I actually received frantic emails from this one gentleman now who has a deal, and he's gone over construction budget, and now he's trying to get more money for
Yep.
construction, and everybody is saying no. So talk to us a little bit about your process for fixing
Mhm.
construction process, staying under budget.
Yep.
What can you suggest people do?
Yeah. For me, again, real estate is a numbers game and a relationship game. So building good relationships with good contractors. If you don't know contractors, join a local RIA, join local Facebook pages, ask for recommendations, ask for referrals, get a few of them, just like anything. Make sure you're vetting your contractors. Talk to people. I always recommend, like, have a conversation with them. Does that go well? Yeah. Go see their work. How does it look? Does that look good? Yeah. Okay. Talk to the people of the jobs that they've just done. Does that sound good? Are those people, does it all check out? Cool. Okay. Now it's like, okay, we feel good. We feel comfortable. I like to bring contractors with me a lot of the times to jobs before I'll even make an offer, to get an idea of what they think the cost might be. Now, it's not going to be down to the penny, but a lot of the times they'll be able to throw some numbers together and say, hey, this is where we're looking, plus or minus. And you always want to have a buffer there, contingency, because something's always going to go wrong. You're always going to go over budget in some departments. So make sure you build that into your pro forma or whatever you're using. And on that note, have a good pro forma. There's tons of them out there. I've got a bunch of them. All these investor networks have their own. There's a million ways to do it, but find one that works for you. Find one that makes sense to you. Make sure, it accounts for everything. Your money, your construction costs, your holding costs, your insurance. There's a lot of factors that go into these that people don't think about. They just see like, oh, this is what the house costs, this is what the construction costs. That looks good, right? And then they don't think about the holding, the insurance, the what if something goes wrong, fund. And that's how they end up over budget. And that's a very easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
you got to get into these deals, accounting for everything, and you win on the buy, not on the sell. That's what we always say. Like, you're going to make your money on the buy side. If it's a good deal on the buy side, and you've built in all these external factors and costs associated with doing a flip or doing a buy and hold or a burr or whatever, then the deal will work. And you'll be able to find funding. So yeah, for me, again, it's about network. Finding your contractors with a good network, finding your hard money lenders with a good network, finding your pro formas and people that you can also, rely on or help you walk through it. Or if you're really a newbie and you don't know what you're doing and you have a good deal, partner with somebody, find somebody that does have some experience. I would love for people to bring me deals and say, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I know you have some experience. Like, would you be willing to help me out? All day. Like,
Yeah, that's
come to
how I did
me,
my
bring me
first
your
deal.
deal. I'll, JV with you. We'll figure out a split that works. I'll connect you with the right people, make sure you know what's going on, make sure you're walking through the process. I'll hold your hand. You do the heavy lifting, I'll do the connecting, and like, we can all make some money together. You can learn. And, so it's just another good way to get into a deal. It's always finding the deal that's the hard part. It's never funding it or figuring out how to get it done. If it's a deal, somebody's going to help you get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So do you ever take on anything huge like foundation issues or an entire gut? And do you suggest that newbies do that? Or do you suggest that newbies stick with like simple stuff to start with?
Yeah, I've got my pain threshold for sure. I mean, we've taken on some big full gut renos, but at this point, nothing really scares me. I mean, foundation is always a scary one, but if you have the right foundation guy, like,
Mhm.
it's just another cost. It's just another number in the game. So I wouldn't shy away really from much. These days, I don't do a ton of like new constructions, like kind of ground foundation up stuff. I like there to be some bones that I can work with. So it's kind of usually where I draw the line at, like kind of pre-existing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, of course, for a newbie investor, like, lipstick makeovers are always the best.
Yeah.
You know, paint carpet, whatever,
Mhm.
the easy stuff, like, start there. If you run into something that's more extensive and it's a good deal, again, like, find somebody that's with a little more experience that can help you through it. But
That can,
for
yeah,
your
partner
first
with you.
one or two, like, yeah, keep it simple, learn the ropes, make your contacts, show your hard money lender that you can perform. Those are all big things. It makes your life easier. It makes the next one easier and the next one easier after that. So
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I knew a woman who all she did was any rental job that was less than 30 days. And she was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Mhm.
And she worked at the Pentagon, believe it or not. And what she would do is she was born and raised in Alabama. She had a construction friend that was still down in Alabama. She worked at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
She would find properties. She would do like, paint, carpet, basic stuff, get a tenant in there, a good stable tenant, and then talk to her friends at the Pentagon and says, who wants this? It's got cash flow.
Yeah.
And that's that. And
Turn and burn.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she basically sold two, kept one, sold two, kept one, did that over and over again. Last time I spoke with her, she had a $2 million portfolio with just that simple,
Yep.
it was simple, So then let's talk about flipping. Because brought up the person that I know from the
Yeah.
Pentagon. Uh, do you like to flip? Do you have any kind of thoughts with regards to flipping versus holding on
Mhm.
and for buy and hold?
Yeah. I mean, for us at this point, like it's really a numbers game again. It's like, what is the deal telling us?
Mhm.
We let the opportunity kind of find its way, out. And we usually have one or two exit strategies too. So
Mhm.
the way we kind of analyze a property is again, we want to have multiple exits. So it's like, we'll look at it as a flip, we'll look at it as a buy and hold. Does it check both boxes? Okay, then it's going to be a good investment. If it works as both, it's usually a good investment. That way, if there's anything, if we do end up going over a budget a little bit, or something happens in the market and we need to hold on to it, it's still going to be a good cash flowing investment. For us, as far as holding right now, like since we're buying kind of in the Front Royal Shenandoah area, we're looking for more unique kind of properties that we can use as short-term rentals. So anything that doesn't really fit in that buy box, we're probably not going to hold on to unless we can get into it creatively. But that's another conversation. But as far as like flip versus hold, we usually want it to work both ways. If it's going to be a flip, it's going to work as a buy and hold. If something goes wrong, we want it to work as a buy and hold. If in the middle of our flip, and this has happened to me, it just happened to me last year. We bought properties in March. We started working on them. And in, the middle of the year, the market did a 180. And those properties that we're selling, we thought were going to sell for 600, that we bought for 350, 400, are now selling for 500, not 600. And we're like, okay, well, we bought good, so we can hang on to it, but we had the intention of flipping it. So that's always a good strategy to take. Like, make sure that it makes sense on multiple exits, not just the flip, because you never know what's going to happen with the market. You never know what's going to happen with the house. So it's always good to have multiple exit strategies.
That's right. I definitely can agree with that.
Yeah,
So, well, we only have you for another minute. So, is there anything else that you want to let people know as we're wrapping up this interview?
sure. Not really. Like I said, I would love to work with new investors. Like, I get a great kick out of helping people get into real estate. So if there's people out there that are listening, that are watching this, that are new to real estate, or you've done a couple of deals and you're interested either in Front Royal, or you're interested in short-term rentals, or for that matter, creative finance. We're doing some subject twos, we're doing some seller finance deals, and you want to connect, definitely give me a shout. I'd love to meet as many people as I can in the area that are doing this. You never know where your next deal is going to come from. So I may have a deal for you as well. So let's connect. You can reach out to me on my cell, 703-801-8692, or look me up on Facebook or Instagram, Mike Cappello. Cappello. But other than that, no, I don't really have too much else, Cherie. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on and chat with you, and happy to do it anytime.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to have you back. So
Please.
everybody, again, if you are looking for funding for that deal, it's simplyfunded.com, SIMPLI funded.com. And you are definitely able to contact us. If you have a deal outside of the DMV area, we have a network of lenders as well. So any kind of funding that you need, we would just love for you to give us a call or an email, come to our website. We just love an opportunity to serve you. So with that, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Cherie. Bring your deals to Simply Funded.
Will do.
Appreciate it.